The elephant in the room for all of us right now is the constant compression of the expiration cycle. And that's the fancy way of saying zero-dated options. Interestingly, no one really noticed when we went to this daily expiration cycle in the key indexes and ETFs. And I attribute that to the Fed meeting of February 1st, 2023 on a Wednesday and an employment number on a Friday, which is actually the situation that we get relatively often. Powell used the phrase disinflation. People went crazy buying stocks and options on that day. And people discovered, wait a minute, there are options that expire on Thursday that I don't have to carry this risk into a jobs number. This is wonderful. They've been phenomenally successful, but I think they've kind of distracted us from sort of the point of options as a risk transfer tool, and I think got too many people thinking of it as a vehicle for speculation, which I think is an imbalance to the industry.
Have zero DTE options killed the VIX?
No, and here's why. If you're an institutional hedger, are you going to use a product that has to be re-hedged daily? Of course not. You can't do it. There's way too much risk in that. The one day you don't do it is the day that whatever event you're trying to hedge occurs. Institutional option traders, or institutions who are not necessarily option traders, use VIX as a real tool for hedging and to some extent speculation, but it's a tool for hedging. And it really, to me, remains the best thing for hedging a short-term move. Over the long term, it kind of gets mired at certain levels. But if you think an event is coming, it's a really good tool because you do tend to see that spike in VIX as people readjust their expectations about volatility. So they exist in parallel. The zero DTE options trading and the volume has not come at the expense of VIX. There have been many people who have been distracted by that.
Where is there risk in the options industry?
One of the things that I'm starting to get a bit more concerned with is the popularity of volatility-selling funds. For those of you who've done it, is a strategy that works great until it doesn't. And it doesn't mean you can't do it systemically. It doesn't mean you can't do it over time. We all know that the majority of options actually do expire out of the money. Therefore, it behooves those who wrote them. But if you're just systemically pumping out volatility, whether it's covered calls or other strategies are a bit more complex, you do introduce risk to the market because you can find yourself sort of short gamma. You can find yourself suppressing that volatility, and I think that's one of the reasons we've tended to see VIX trade for long stretches in the tweens, let's call it, the 12, 13, 14 range, rather than more the historical high teens, which we've always known. I don't think this is not a reason for panic, and some of these funds are very well managed, and I do trust a lot of those managers to be doing the right thing. But when you start to get a preponderance, when you start to get too many people plowing into what they think is a no-brainer short volatility trade, that's when accidents can happen.
What are the prospects for retail options growth in the UK?
We've been in the UK for quite some time. We think we have a first mover advantage to some extent. We've been offering, global execution to our clients for decades now. But I think in general, anytime you get more participants into a marketplace, assuming that marketplace has the right structure to accommodate them and has a vibrant enough community to make markets and provide liquidity, that's a good thing for us all in the industry. Rising tide can lift all boats in that situation.
What are your thoughts on the Indian options market?
We don't make markets in most of the world. India is one of the two places we do still make markets in the options business, India and Hong Kong. It's been a very active marketplace. It's been a very heavily speculative marketplace. And so the volumes have been astounding. There must be something going on there because there's a big lawsuit about, I think it was Millennium, where they accused somebody of one of the hedge funds of stealing their secrets about Indian options trading. So if you're going to go to the trouble of having a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, there has to be some money involved in this. And I will say, without being specific, it's a profitable business for us. But like with any options trading, I want to see more of a balance between intelligent speculation, hedging, risk transfer, and I do feel that from time to time, the Indian option market can get a bit speculative. Anecdotally, there's a lot of people touting, get rich quick schemes using options. And that's not what we want as an industry in any country. Because we want our customers to be involved for the long term. We want them to make money. That's how they stay customers. We don't want people just sort of churning and burning in options no matter where you are. And that's why we try our best to educate our customers as well as we can. But India is a fascinating place. It sort of came up out of nowhere and has become phenomenally active marketplace. It's great to see in some ways.
If you had dinner with Chairman Gensler, what question would you ask?
I think I would like to get his view on financial innovation as a whole. And, to some extent, I can't not ask him about cryptocurrency. I think you're getting a lot of mixed messages from the SEC. And I also want, on that topic specifically, but in general, the SEC is really their mandate is to protect the individual investor and the integrity of the system. And I think there are certain specific aspects where I think you lose the forest for the trees sometimes. I'm not going to go into specific SEC regulations, but I would really press him on, first of all, what are the internal politics that he sees? Because I think we as outsiders don't see what's going on inside the room. Are they as laser focused on that mission of protecting individual investors as they say they are? And do we share, let's say, a common roadmap for how to best achieve that?